Hey folks, so today we're going to take a look at the Canon R6 versus the Canon 6D Mark II. Completely different cameras, I know. Mirrorless versus DSLR. Older versus newer. There's a 4-year gap between the two when they came out. You know, there's 100 differences. But I'm not trying to make a fair comparison. I'm just trying to make an accurate comparison and give an accurate representation of each camera side by side. With that said, I want to make it clear that I am not paid by Canon. Canon doesn't send me any equipment. I have no affiliation with Canon. I wish they would send me equipment. And the reason I just started with Canon, I've stuck with Canon all the way through. It's what I own. I own all Canon gear based on the fact that one is a DSLR and one is a mirrorless, and that does definitely plays a role in potentially your decision on which one to buy. Or if you're just curious, what's the difference? Well, here. So let's start here. This is the body. This is the comparison on the bodies. See here, the 6D Mark II is slightly taller. It does have a GPS unit up here in the top, remote port right here, dual SD slots, you have a single SD slot, LCD. Basically all your settings are on this little LCD. R6 does not have that. And then you have a multifunction button right here, which gives you different options inside of the viewfinder. This little multifunction button. It's completely new on the 6D Mark II. It has a button in the similar spot, but this button pulls up your focal points in your viewfinder or on your LCD screen. Flip out articulating screen. The R6 has this joystick. It allows you to also pick spots in the viewfinder. This on both of them acts as the aperture setting when you spin them. On the R6, it has an additional dial right here that acts as the ISO dial that the 6D Mark II does not have. In order to change the ISO on the 6D Mark II, you have to toggle it by pushing the ISO button and then using this dial. So this does not have a 3-dial system like this does. So menus are similar, similar Canon setup. R6 has added an autofocus spot here, which is completely revamped, and the entire focusing system on the R6 is different because of the electronic viewfinder, because they've added eye detection mode, and in the eye detection mode you can actually toggle between animals and people or no priority, and trust me, this works. If you have people set, it will not eye detect animals. If you have animals set, it will not eye detect people. You have to change those, and it will prioritize, and it does a fantastic job figuring that out, you know, and finding the eye. Focus peaking, which the 6D Mark II does not have. They added a tab here for the connectivity, which, by the way, the R6 connects wirelessly much easier with the Connect app than the 6D Mark II. I've had a lot more success on the R6 than I have on the 6D Mark II. But for the most part, it's a completely different layout. USB Type-C charging port. If you don't want to take the battery out, or if you're someplace where you don't have the Canon charger, you can just plug in your phone's USB charging port right here and it'll charge it. However, in the hand, they still feel very similar with that Canon grip, really comfortable Canon grip. And that's it, folks. So now I've switched over, and right now I'm filming with the 6D Mark II. And I've got, like I said, I've got the settings exactly the same, except possibly the audio might be a little screwy on here. But okay, so this is another test that I wanted to do. This is what I'm talking about on the video of this guy. All right, so this is the same video running at, same video, same setup, running at f10 with the R6 now. And as you can see here, look corner to corner, and this is what the 4K brings you. And like I said, I have everything else is the same in there as far as the picture profile. So yeah, the video quality on the 6D Mark II is usable, but it's not nearly as advanced as the R6. Obviously, the R6 has the 4K 60 frames per second, the 1080p at 120 frames a second, which gives this really nice slow motion. It has the 4K at 24 frames a second, 30 frames a second. They just added 4K 24 Lite. So it's just got a vast variety of video options that make it far superior on the video side as far as sharpness, quality, and also it has the eye tracking for video and for photo as well that you can also use in the viewfinder. So another huge difference is that you can use the R6 and shoot video in the viewfinder because it's an electronic viewfinder. Okay, so I'm not going to get too deep into the video aspects of these cameras because they're just so different that I want to focus more on the photo, but we have to talk about the video aspects because nowadays cameras are designed to be the do everything, right? They're the Swiss Army knives, the majority of cameras you buy. However, I think this is one of those exceptions where you're looking at this camera mostly for photography with the ability to shoot some pretty decent video. But this is definitely not a camera you're going to buy thinking you're going to go out and create some amazing videography and I'm just saying, let's be realistic here. It's a good camera. Video's just not a strong suit. Low light comparisons, some high ISO comparisons, and some shadow recovery comparisons. Now let's do some wildlife shooting. And it's important to see the huge difference in how the mirrorless functions in the viewfinder versus the DSLR as far as how it tracks, because that is one of the huge benefits of the R6 is the amazing tracking ability in the viewfinder for both video and for photo. And its accuracy is extremely, it's a lot better. I don't know how to say it. Okay, folks, so let's wrap this up. Basically, the conclusion here is that there is no winner or loser. That's what I want to get out here. These are just different cameras. there's a big gap in when they came out. Obviously, the 60 Mark II came out in 2017. The R6 just came out this past year. You're not going to go wrong with either one. And you know which one you know what you're looking for usually by the time you're getting to this point where you're watching this video, right? If you know that the 60 Mark II is a good photography camera, and it's just not doesn't have a really high resolution video, but it does have 1080p video. If you're fine with the 1080p, you're gonna be fine with that camera, right? I don't make these to be like verse and oh my god, look how much better this one is than this or anything. I just want to give the most accurate information in the same situations as I can to let you decide based on as much information as I can give you. So you know, I own every camera that I review here. Like I said, Canon doesn't send me any of these. I own these, and I've loved every camera I bought. Is at one point was my favorite camera, right? You kind of move on. You know, the next big thing is your favorite thing, you know, and it doesn't mean you like those cameras any less. Or they're not. They stopped becoming useful or anything. They're still just as useful today as they were when they came out, and that they always have been. But it's just important, I think, to see what's out there, see where the direction everything's going, and obviously everything is heading mirrorless. Like that's just the way it is, and I get it. If you don't want to jump to mirrorless and you still love DSLR, totally understand that. I'm not saying you should jump, but you can't fight the fact or deny the fact that that's the direction it is going. So for right now, though, who knows how many years you have left with the mirrorless, if that's what you like. If you like that optical viewfinder versus the electric viewfinder, hey, you know, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because you're not. It's whatever you like. I don't care. I don't want to argue about it either. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to give a good little comparison video here. So the two things I've learned over my years with the cameras is that there is no right or wrong. It's just what you prefer. That's it, period. And the other thing I've learned is, over the last year or so dealing with COVID, my shirts got a little bit tighter, and I look a little different in areas that I'm not too happy with. And I think that the 4K is really starting to show that. So maybe the 60 Mark II resolution isn't a bad thing, or the lack of resolution, I should say. Yeah, this past year hasn't been so great on the waistline. It's time to maybe check out some new shirts, looser shirts, possibly. But anyways, folks, thanks for watching. Hey, look, as always, I just hope these are helpful in some way or another, or if nothing else, entertaining and fun to watch. That's it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your day. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best, or somebody else may know something that I don't. Probably know something that I don't. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. See ya.